ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतानः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Dear friends, we are in this 69th shloka, that is Ya Nisha Sarvabhutanam Tasyam Jagarti Sanyami Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sanisha Pashyato Munehe. We are also in the middle of the Bhashyam. So the question which is discussed in this shloka is, what is the night for an Ajnani and what is the night for a Jnani? So that is the question. So what is the night for an Ajnani? Brahma Vidya is something which is unknown to an Ajnani. So he cannot open his eyes, he cannot see anything in that Brahma Vidya. So something like that Brahma Vidya is something like a night. Brahma Vidya means Atma Jnanam, the knowledge of the self, knowledge of the Brahman, is something which is not known to an Ajnani, an ordinary man who is in this world. Then what is the night for a Jnani? The Vyavahara, all this division, all this diversity, likes, dislike, friend, foe, and all these differences a Jnani does not see. He does not see all these things. So in a way, that is something like a darkness, that is something like a night for a Jnani. So that is why it is said, what is night for an Ajnani is something which is a day for a Jnani. That is, Brahma Vidya is a day for, conversely speaking, Brahma Vidya is a day for a Jnani, and Avidya, or the day-to-day world, the day-to-day diversity is what is day for an ordinary man, an ordinary person who is having all transactions in the world. So this is the meaning of this shloka. And again, during the Bhashyam, Shankaracharya has also drawn one corollary. That corollary is, when this Atma Vidya is something which is going to eliminate all differences. Atma Vidya is something which gives you an Advaita Drushti, an Advaya Drushti. That is seeing oneness in everything, seeing everything as Chaitanya, seeing everything as Chit and Sat. Then there is no question of friend, foe, likes and dislikes and whatnot. So what all has been said in the earlier portion of the Veda about a Karma Kanda, doing say Ahimsa, Satyam, Jnanam, and Danam and all these things. So all these things, they no longer become applicable to him. They cease to apply. You follow this? Because ahimsa is a question, arises. The question of ahimsa arises only when I want to say torment or torture something or somebody. When I don't see any difference, where is the question of my torturing somebody? When I look at everything as Atma, when I look at everything as Shuddha Chaitanya Swarupam, then there is no question of my tormenting anybody, there is no question of my hating anybody. So this Jnani is somebody who has a love for everything, who loves everything as much as he loves himself. So that is his situation. So there is no question of having a friend, there is no question of having an enemy, there is no question of torturing anything, there is no question of giving some dhanam or something, there is no question of accepting anything. When we say there is no question of dhanam, it does not mean that we should keep on accepting donations. So there is no question of dana or parigraha. Nistutir nirnamaskaraha. He doesn't go and praise anybody, he does not receive any namaskaras. So like that, so that is the situation. So all these things, these are at the transactional level, Vyavahara Dasha. So in this Vyavahara Dasha, Veda is talking about Vyavahara Dasha. Actually, we have several times discussed that Veda talks at two levels. One is Vyavahara Dasha and the other is Paramartha Dasha. That is, Vyavahara Dasha is the normal transactional level. Paramartha Dasha is the absolute level. At the level of supreme reality, there is nothing, you are absolute Brahman. You are away from all the norms of the world, all the worldly norms and whatnot, they do not bind you. You are above all those. Not that you will be doing some illegal things and you are above law, like our politicians or politicians' children. You are not above law. You don't suddenly become above law. It only means that you will never transgress any law. you have reached such a stage that you will never transgress any law. You will be such a harmless person. You are a person full of love for everything. So that is the situation of a jnani. So for such a man, there is no question of action. There is no question of transaction. So which means what all has been told in this karma kanda, for him there is no question of attaining a swarga. There is no question of attaining, swarga means heaven. There is no question of attaining some punya loka, doing some vratam and then doing some yajna and then going to some punya loka and whatnot, all these things. Why is he not accepting that? Because punya loka is something which is again, which is a very, very delimited aspect in that eternal chaitanya, eternal Brahman, in that entire consciousness. This is a slightly exalted state of existence. So when he is erasing that existence itself, when he is erasing that identity itself, that swarga is there only when there is an identity. I am so and so. I have done this much punyam. I have done so many yajnas. I have to go. I deserve to be in swarga for say some 100 years. I deserve to be enjoying say some first class suite in swarga. So this is the thing, when that I identity is there, when this jnani is somebody in whom that identity itself is erased, there is no question of his doing some punya. So what all has been told in this karma kanda about this yajna, dana, tapas and whatnot, all these things, they cease to be applicable in the case of a jnani. So that is one corollary which Shankaracharya has drawn here. That is all this entire karma kanda which you are talking about. They are at the level of karta, bhokta, pramata, all these things. Only karta, bhokta means doer. Bhokta is somebody who is an enjoyer. Pramata is somebody who knows. Prameya is something which is known. So like that. So when this division is there, this karma kanda is applicable. When this division is not there, karma kanda is no longer applicable. So his adhikara or his duty or his eligibility is for jnana nishtha. So that is why he said jnana nisthayameva tasya adhikaraha. And we have also read this line, tatrapi pravartaka pramana bhave pravritteha anupapattihi. So a question arises in the case of pravritti or in the case of karma kanda, there is some Veda which is directing you to do this, that. But in the case of jnana kanda, you say that jnani is rising above all these things. And in the absence of any such directive principle, in the absence of any such order or a direction, how will a person move or stay in that jnana nishtha? So that is the meaning of this question here. Pravartaka pramana bhave pravritteha anupapattihi. The pravritti or engagement in some that jnana nishtha will not be possible. That is his question. So he says, the reply is, na, it is not so. Swatma vishayatvat. I think we have to read this line. Swatma vishayatvat atma vijnanasya. Atma vijnana. Atma vijnana is what? Self-knowledge. In self-knowledge, what is the subject matter? Self itself. Self itself is the subject matter in that knowledge of self. So when you are the person who is the cognizer, nobody has to direct you that you know yourself. Shastra, as we said, it talks in two levels. One is for somebody who is in the worldly level. He says you do this, you do this, you do this. That is Shasti iti Shastram. There are two meanings for Shastram. Shasti, that is you do this, do not do this, do this, do not do this. Shasti means it orders, it directs. The next level is Shamsati iti Shastram. Shamsati means it only says, it only commends, it only tells you. It only tells you, oh, you are not a fool, you are not a sinner, you are not an ajnani, you are not a papi. So it only says you are that Shuddha Chaitanya Swabhava. Tat Tvam Asi. So that is the level. So there is no direction there. It is only telling. It is only telling, oh, your nature is this. Like that old story, Dashamasthamasi, the 10th man are you. So the 10 people trying to cross a river, and everybody counts and then finds that one fellow is missing, and then everybody starts crying. So at that time one gentleman comes and then says, Arey, you count again. So after again counts and then again tries to lament, he says, no, that 10th man is you. So it is a very simple example, but a very suitable example. So that is why it is often repeated in Vedanta. So like that, Vedanta talks at this level, that is Shamsati iti Shastram. Shamsati means commends, it recommends, it only describes, it only tells. It just tells, oh, you are not like, say, religion will say, you have to do this thing, you have to get over this sin or papam. So Vedanta says you are not a sinner, you are not a papi, you are not a fool, you are not an ajnani. You shake all these bandhas, all these bonds, you shake off, and then you are the Shuddha Chaitanya Swarupa. So you are the subject matter. There is nobody who is giving a direction. So you are the Druk Swarupa. These words Druk and Drushya also we have learnt. Druk is the seer, the perceiver. Drushyam is something which is seen. So Drushyam is there only when you feel that you are different from that. You follow?
Yes.
This pen is there so long as I feel that this is different from me. Or you are there so long as I feel that you are different from me. So when I see everything as Shuddha Chaitanya Swarupa or Brahma Swarupa, then there is no question of any division. So that Drushyam, Druk, Pramata, Prameya, Pramanam, all these things, they merge. Pramanam is what I see with my eye. So my eye or Chakshurendriya is a Pramana. I smell with my nose, the sense of smell, that becomes a Pramana. So when I see a difference, only that Pramana arises. When I do not see any difference, the Pramana also ceases to exist. Only that Shuddha Chaitanya Swarupa remains. So this Pramana, Prameya and Pramata, all the three, they merge. So that is what he is going to say. Nahi Atmanaha Swatmani Pravartaka Pramana Apekshata Atmatvadeva Nahi Atmanaha Swatmani. For you to look into yourself, there is no need for any order. Only that jignasa has to arise. That jignasa or no gnatum ichha, that desire to know yourself, only that has to arise. There is no need for any order. There is no order or anything. The Shastra cannot direct you. Shastra can only direct you when you are in this world of diversity. When you want to move towards jignasa, there is no question of direction. So nahi pravartaka pramana apekshata. Tatra, in that knowledge, in that state of consciousness, there is no need for any directive principle. Pravartaka pramana. Pramana is, that authority. Authority which is a pravartaka, which is going to direct you, which is going to motivate you to do an action. So that sort of pramana is not required. Apeksha means requirement. There is no requirement. Pravartaka pramana apekshata. Apekshata is requirement. There is no requirement of this directive principle or direction. Because why? Atmatvadeva. Because you yourself are the Atma. You yourself as that subject which is under discussion. So you have to know, you obviously you know yourself. You are the person, you are the cognizer, you are the drashta or druk swarupa. Then tadantatvacha sarva pramananam pramanatvasya. So this is again a Shastra language. The Shastra language, it always uses pramanatvam, atmatvadeva. This tvakara is frequently used in Shastra paribhasha. It can be in slightly simpler language, but this is the Shastra language. When we use the Shastra, when we read Shastra, naturally we have to slowly, with some little bit of difficulty and patience, we have to follow this Shastra language. So tadantatvacha Shastra sarva pramananam pramanatvasya. So translated into simple Sanskrit, I can translate like this: sarva pramananam pramanatvam tad tasminneva antam bhavati. Sarva pramananam pramanatvam. That is the authority of all other pramanas. Pramanatvam is the status of being an authority. Pramana, we know, an authority, or the means of valid knowledge. Okay, that status of being a means of valid knowledge is called pramanatvam. Pramana and pramanatvam, you know the difference. Both are nouns. Pramana is a noun, pramanatvam also is a noun. So pramana is a means of valid knowledge. Pramanatvam is the status of being that means of valid knowledge or status of being an authority, let us say. So all this pramanatvam or this status ends of all sarva pramananam, of all the pramanas, this status ends with self-knowledge only. Tadantatvacha. Tadantatvam means it all ends with the knowledge of the self itself. The self itself is the knower. When self itself is the knower, there is no pramana to know the self itself. There is no pramana to know the self itself. You have to look into yourself. So that is all. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
But these 3-4 lines, these are lines, I can say the literal meaning, but we have to contemplate on this. There are certain passages in everywhere, in Vedanta. You have to think, you have to do this manana and nididhyasana. These are the things which are required here. Simple saying, okay, swatma vishayatvad atma vijnanasya, I have explained. Then again, nahi atmanah swatmani pravartaka pramana apeksha atmatvadeva, I explained. But then, these are the things which we have to again and again listen and then think on that. We have to think in order to realize, yes, this is the. Then only when you speculate on that, we will understand that there is some sense. Tadantatvacha sarva pramananam pramanatvasya means all pramanas, they operate only so long as Atma Jnana is not there. All pramanas, they operate. Their realm of, operation or their operation is only till you attain Atma Jnana. Once you attain Atma Jnana, there is no need for pramana. This is what is it. Once you attain Atma Jnana and when you see everything as yourself, there is no need to cognize anything other than you. Pramana arises only when you want to cognize something other than you, when you want to know something other than you. So when you know everything as yourself, then there is no need for pramana. So this is the meaning of this sentence. Tad antatvacha sarva pramananam pramanatvasya. That is sarva pramananam sarva pramanatvam. That is the status of being a pramana ends with this knowledge of the self. Once this Atma Jnana is there, you don't see any difference, you don't require any pramanas. So this pramana, prameya, all these things, they merge. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
But anyway, as I said, you have to again listen to this and then contemplate. Then, nahi Atma Swarupadhigame Adhigame Sati Punaha Pramana Prameya Vyavaharaha Sambhavati. Yes. So this is again what we said. He is again emphasizing. He is clarifying rather. Nahi Atmaswarupa Adhigame Sati. Atmaswarupa Adhigame Sati. Atmaswarupa Adhigama. Adhigama is attaining, knowing. Adhigama. Atmaswarupa Adhigama means knowing the nature of the self. Atmaswarupasya Adhigama. Adhigama is knowing. So Atmaswarupa Adhigame Sati means once a person has attained that Atma Swarupa, knowledge of that Atman, then Punaha, then later, at that time, Pramana Prameya Vyavaharaha Na Sambhavati. This Nahi has to be brought here. The Na which is there in the first, in the beginning of the sentence has to be brought here. Pramana Prameya Vyavaharaha Na Sambhavati. That means Pramana and Prameya. We know the meaning. Pramana I told so many times. Prameya is what can be known by a pramana is prameya. Pramana, the sense of eyesight is pramana, sense of sight. Then prameya, I see an object there, I see some sort of bag there. So that is a prameya. That which can be known by the pramana is a prameya. So this pramana, prameya, vyavahara is there only when I find myself something different from everything. When this I itself is dissolved, when this I itself is erased, let us say, this I, we have also talked about identity crisis. What is an identity crisis for an ordinary man is something which is a desired state in Vedanta. So a person who loses an identity, person who has absolutely, he is one with the Brahman, one with the, say, the Chaitanya, he feels that he is a Chaitanya Swarupa, he is in that state. Then for him, there is no question of diversity. There is no question of his identity or ego is dissolved. So then pramana prameya vyavaharaha na sambhavati. There is no question of pramana and prameya. So is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Nahi atmaswarupadhigame sati punaha pramana prameya vyavaharaha sambhavati. Pramatrutvam hi atmanaha nivartayati antyam pramanam. Okay, this again is a very important statement. So earlier also we have come across this line, Shastram tu Antyam Pramanam. Where is it? I should have located it earlier, but anyway, there is a line which says, Shastram tu antyam pramanam atadharma adhyaropa nivartakamatраtvena pramanam. So that is what we read earlier. So there is something which is superimposed on the self. So this Shastra is a pramana only in order to remove all the things which have been superimposed on yourself. So Shastra will say, this is not you, this is not you, this is not you, this is not you. This ego which has been built up on so many factors, so many components of identity, let us say. This I has so many components. I has got a component, I am a male, I am this, I belong to this race, I belong to this caste, I have this social status, I belong to this religion. There are so many components in this I. So all these components are erased in that. So, atadharma adhyaropa nivartakam. All these things, they are superimposed on this absolute Chaitanya, Shuddha Chaitanya. So this Shastra, what does it do? It only eradicates, it only erases, not eradicates, it only erases or dissolves all these components and then makes you realize, helps you to realize that you are that Shuddha Chaitanya. So Shastram to Antyam Pramanam means why is it an Antyam Pramanam? Antyam Pramanam means the final authority. It does not mean that beyond this whatever I say I have to dogmatically follow. It is not a dogma. Shastram to Antyam Pramanam does not mean that Shastra is a dogma and if you try to flout it, you will be beheaded, or anybody trying to flout it, he should be beheaded or anything like that. It is not like that. We should not, Shastra is not talking about fanaticism. It is not talking about fanaticism or fundamentalism here. Shastram to Antyam Pramanam means Shastra is eliminating all those differences in you. Shastra is erasing your identity, and it is making that, by doing that, it is the Antyam Pramanam. That is, Pramana is there only in the level of diversity. So once those Pramanas are erased, then Shastra itself ceases to be a Pramana. You okay? You agree? Shastra itself, it ceases to be a Pramana. It ceases to be an authority. So that is what he is going to say. Shastram tu Antyam Pramanam Pramatrutvam hi Atmanaha Nivartayat Antyam Pramanam. So this Antyam Pramanam, this final Pramanam, it is eradicating or removing the Pramatrutvam of Atma. The Atma means the self, the individual self, the so-called individual self. His Pramatrutva, this feeling that I am the knower. This feeling that I am the knower is called Pramatrutvam. Pramata is knower. Pramatrutvam is the idea that I am the knower. That is Pramatrutvam. So this idea that I am the knower is removed once that Atma Jnana is there. And by doing that, by helping in that, Shastra becomes the Antyam Pramanam, and Shastra itself ceases to be a Pramanam once you realize that. Is it okay? So, Pramatrutvam hi Atmanaha nivartayatyantyam Pramanam. Is it okay? Next line, Nivartayadevacha Apramani bhavati Swapnakala Pramanamiva Prabodhe. So you have got some dream, and in dream you have seen something, you have seen some tiger or something, and in the dream, in that say in your dream you have taken a gun and you tried to scare that tiger or tried to shoot that tiger, or in a dream you saw something and you reacted in a particular way. So the dream has got its own dream rules. You have behaved in a particular way. In dream also your ego is there, and then you behave in a particular way. So long as you dream, the dream is a reality for us. Then once you wake up, the dream rules do not apply in the waking state. So the dream rules are different. Once you wake up, then there is no gun, there is no lion, there is no tiger, nothing. So just as the dream rules do not apply once you are awake, in the same manner, this Shastra becomes Apramana. Shastra is there defining some dream rules for the dreamers. Shastra is giving some dream rules for the dreamers, and it is again helping you to wake up from the dream and then say that you are not this, you are not a dreamer, you are something different. So that is the picture. So Shastra has made some dream rules, let us say, and it is giving all this Veda, say Pandits who do all this Chandi Yagam and this Yagam and that Yagam, they are in that dream rules, they are in the level of these dream rules. So once you wake up, you realize that all those things, they are they are required in a society, there is no doubt. They are all required. We should not condemn them. We should repeatedly realize that we should not condemn them. But they are required at a lower level. But in order, once you attain this Atma Jnana, they become irrelevant. They become apramana. So, nivartayadeva cha apramani bhavati swapnakala pramanamiva. Swapnakala pramanamiva means like whatever is the pramana in a swapnakala is not relevant in say Jagrata Avastha. So likewise, this whatever is this karma kanda, whatever are the rituals, whatever the religion says about do this, that and things like that, my heaven is good, your heaven is bad, all these things, they are all irrelevant. They become say apramana. They become apramana at the level of Brahmajnana. Is it okay?
Yes.
So pramana, swapnakala pramanamyo prabodhe. Lokecha vastvadhigame pravrutti hetutva adarsanat pramanasya. So he says, even in our day-to-day experience, lokecha means loke. Whenever we find this word loke in our day-to-day experience, so he has been talking about the Shastra level. Once you come down to ordinary level also, even in normal day-to-day transactions, lokecha, even at the day-to-day level, vastvadhigame, once you know an object, that pramana, it ceases to be a pramana. Once you know, I see a book, so then I need not repeatedly say, you see the book. The eye, the sense of sight, it has already seen and its job is over. I see something and this job of this sense is over. So like that, lokecha vastvadhigame pravrutti hetutva adarsanat pramanasya. This pramana ceases to become a hetu or cause or reason for pramana, for pravrutti. So it has already, pravrutti has taken place. Then it has not been, then this ceases to be. This ceases to be a cause for further say knowledge of that particular object, because you have already known it. So this is the day-to-day experience also shows that once you know a thing, this pramana ceases to be a pramana. So likewise, once you know Atma Jnanam, the Shastra ceases to become a pramana. So that is the main point here. The Veda, the dream rules are there in Veda. Beyond the dream rules are the reality, that's absolute level. So this absolute level, once you reach, then this whatever is there at the lower level, this karma kanda, they become apramana. And once you come to this level, even this entire Veda becomes apramana. So in fact, Vedanta is the only place where you find yatra Veda, Aveda bhavanti. Earlier also we have come across something. What is that line? There was one line here. Nistraigunya bhavarjuna nidbandhu nitya satvastha tava yavan arthavadapane sarvata samplutodake. There again, that is 46th shloka. There again, tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah. Vedas, it is something like, it is in the position of a small well compared to a place filled with water. So that is what we saw in that 46th shloka. Veda has got a limited application or limited applicability or limited relevance for a jnani. So that is again and again it is being told by Gita Acharya and again being explained by Sri Shankaracharya. So lokecha vastvadhigame pravrutti hetutva adarsanatvat pramanasya. So Veda is the only place where you find that Veda itself ceases to become a pramana. Any other religion, if you go to a religion, the religion is so say possessive about its own book, so possessive about say the sacredness of their own book, that if some small leaf of a book is torn somewhere, then there can be a communal clash. So that is what we see in Hyderabad. If unfortunately there is some cat which has gone into that place of worship and that cat disturbs that book and that book falls and then there is a small lamp there and that book gets torn, then there can be a communal clash in Hyderabad. So but then Veda says, Veda itself becomes irrelevant once you become a jnani. So what all we see, all these communal troubles and whatnot, they are at the level of foolish people. That is what we have to see. So yatra Veda Veda bhavanti, that is again from that Veda, that Upanishad. Then Shastram to Antyam Pramanam, this is one point we have to see. So in this shloka, what are the points which we have seen? We have seen 3 points. One is Atma Vidya is something which is a night for Ajnanis. Then Karma Kanda that is all rituals etc. They are relevant at the level of say Ajnani only, Ajnana Dasha only. So these are the important things we saw. And then Veda itself ceases to be a pramana in the case of an Atmajnani. So this is the corollary. The last line, Tasmat na Atmavidaha Karmanyadhikaraha iti siddham. Okay, he says there is no Atmavidaha Karmani na Adhikaraha. That na has to be brought towards Adhikara. It has to be connected to Adhikara. Atmavidaha, for somebody who knows the Atman. Karmani na Adhikaraha. There is no Adhikara in Telugu. Adhikara means power. It is not here. Adhikara does not mean Sanskrit. Adhikara does not mean power. There is a question of eligibility. It also means duty. It also means compulsion. So there is no compulsion, or there is no duty, or there is no duty which is enjoined on him that he has to do karmas. So he, for an Atmajnani, he rises above this karma kanda. Atmavidaha na karmanyadhikaraha iti siddham. So there is no compulsion, there is no duty. So in fact our Vedanta always talks about the duties. We are, actually our religion is something which does not talk about our rights and not aggressiveness. It talks more about our own duties. You have to do this, you have to do this. So that is it. Next we'll come to this Avatarika. Vidushaha Tyaktaishanasya Sthitaprajnasya Yatereva moksha praptihi Natu asanyasinaha Kama kaminaha Ityetamartham Drishtantena pratipadayishyan aha. Drishtantena pratipadayishyan aha. Okay. Vidushaha tyaktaishanasya sthita prajnasya yatehe. So Vidwan is the word, Vidusha is the Shashti Ekvachan. Vidushaha means for a Vidwan. And that Vidwan is being qualified by three adjectives here, that is Tyaktaishanaha. One who has given up the three Eshanas. What is that Eshana Trayam? Putraishana, Lokaishana, Vittaishana. That is desire for progeny, desire for wealth, desire for Punyam, Punya Lokas, that is Lokaishana, Punya Lokas. So these are the Eshanas, Eshana Trayam, which is described in Upanishads. This Eshana, Tyakta Eshana means one who has given up. Tyakta Eshana, Tyaktani Eshanaha, I think it is Pumlinga. Tyaktaha Eshanaha, Ena sa Tyakta Eshanaha. One who has given up or one who has renounced these Eshanas, the three desires. He is called a Tyaktaishana. So Tyaktaishanasya, that is one adjective. Then the second adjective is Sthita Prajnasya, one who is having that composure, who has conquered his mind. Sthita Prajna, all through we have read, a person who has conquered his indriyas and mind. Then Yati, again it's for emphasis, he is again repeating, Yati is one who is having that sanyama, that self-control, restraint. So these are the three adjectives which are given. Vidushaha, Tyaktaishanasya, that is one who has given up desires. Sthitaprajnasya, one who is having composure. And Yatehe, for one who is having that self-restraint. For such a man only moksha praptihi, natu asanyasinaha, not somebody who has not renounced these. Natu asanyasinaha, kama kaminaha. Kama kaminaha. Kama is used twice in this word. Kama kami. Kama is desire. Kami is one who desires. One who desires. Literal translation is kama kami, means kama means desire. Kami is one who desires. So one who is a bundle of desires. One who is having so many desires. We are all people with bundles of desires. So Shastra is talking about people like us, all these kama kaminaha, the people who are having so many desires. Natu asanyasinaha kama kaminaha ityetamartham drishtantena pratipadayishyan. Drishtanta is an example. Drishtanta means an example. Drishtantena pratipadayishyan. So he wants to demonstrate, he wants to present, put forward. Pratipadana means putting forward. He wants to put forward this idea by giving an example. What is that idea? That moksha prapti, that is attainment of moksha or attainment of Atma Jnana, is only for for attainment of this moksha. Moksha means that peace, that state of peaceful peace. So that is possible only for a Vidwan who is a Sthita Prajna and an Yati, and not for somebody who is a bundle of desires. So that is what he is proposing in the next shloka. Let us read this shloka. Apuryamanam achala pratishtham. This apuryamanam and achala pratishtham, they are merged. So that is why we can say apuryamanam achala pratishtham. Samudramapah pravishanti yadvat. Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve. Sashanti mapnoti na kamakami. Okay, so here there is an example of a sea or ocean, let us say. So there is an image of an ocean. This Sthita Prajna is compared to an ocean. So in what manner? Ocean is something in which rivers, they perennially flow into the sea, in that ocean. And then this ocean is something which never it changes its shape. Ocean, the sea shore is always the same. The boundary is same. So otherwise, the world map would have changed so many times. So the world map has not changed only because the sea has not changed. The ocean has not changed, and though perennially all the rivers in the world, they have been flowing into this. There is so much of rain has been coming into that. So the oceans have not changed. So that is how the Sthita Prajna, he receives whatever kamas are there. It does not mean that this fellow is he is having such an insatiable appetite. It is not. We should not take it in that way. Sthita Prajna is a fellow who can take in, he can gulp anything, he can swallow anything. It's not like that. So he is a avikari. Only to that limited extent we have to take this. He is an avikari. Whatever prarabdha karma has come onto him, he takes it just like that. He is not afflicted by that. He is not shaken by that. So that in that sense only we have to take. Not that Sthita Prajna is having a capacity of an ocean to absorb all kamas and then he can enjoy all things and then he can digest. It is not in that sense. So that we have to see that similarly we have to see what exactly is the point of comparison. So we have to see only that point of comparison. So apuryamanam achala pratishtham. Apuryamanam is that which is being filled up. Puryamana, this a is only an upasarga. A means samantat, it means a means samantat, that is completely, totally, completely. The meaning of a is that. Apuryamanam. Puryamanam is that which is being filled up. When? Right now it is being filled up. When Lord Krishna spoke this, it was being filled up. And maybe after so many years and so many centuries also, that will continue to be filled up, unless there is some great ecological change, because our people are now colonizing even the sea. There are people, so many the countries which are now colonizing the sea. We have disturbed the ecology in the sea, and then we have disturbed the ecology even in the say North Pole and also the South Pole. So there is so much of damage which is taking place every day to our ecological system. So maybe after a few centuries we do not know, but right now we can say that this holds good. When Lord Krishna spoke, it held good. Much earlier to Lord Krishna, it held good. So apuryamanam is, it is in a present continuous sentence. Apuryamana, puryamana, it is called a shanach pratyam. Puryamana, kriyamana, so like that. Apuryamanam api, even though it is being continuously filled up. That is the meaning. That is the meaning of apuryamanam. Achala pratishtham. So it is achala. We know this meaning of achala. It does not move. Pratishtha is another thing which we also know. Pratishtha is something which is stable, which is not moving. Achala, pratishtha, which is not moving at all. That of course Shankaracharya is going to explain the full meaning. Then that is the characteristics of samudra. Apuryamanam api achala pratishtham samudram. So that type of ocean, apaha yadvat pravishanti. Just as water flow into that, just as waters go into that, all waters from all rivers and whatnot, they all go into the sea. Likewise, tadvat means likewise. So the first line is first line is just as all the waters they enter the samudram, though it is eternally being filled, it is still firm, which it has not found any modification or vikara in it. So likewise, kamaha yam pravishanti sarve. Likewise, sarve kamaha, that is all types of desires, yam pravishanti. Those, a person in whom all these things they enter, sa shanti mapunoti na kamakami. So like an ocean, he absorbs all these things and he becomes he is in a state of avikara. He is in a state of changelessness. He has no change he has no vikara in him. He doesn't get afflicted by them. He doesn't get tainted by them. So sa shanti mapunoti na kamakami. So by saying na kamakami, he is clarifying that this man, though he is taking in those things which are coming, he is not a kamakami. Na kamakami is emphatically saying that this gentleman who is in the position of an ocean, so he is not a kamakami, he is not a desirer of desires, he is not a bundle of desires. So because he is a jnani is compared to an ocean here. And jnani also by virtue of a prarabdha karma. By virtue of a prarabdha karma, somebody like a King Janaka. King Janaka was there we come across so many Rajarshis. We come across so many Rajarshis in our literature, in our Puranas and in our books. So Rajarshi is what? Rajanascha Rushayascha. He is a king, at the same time a Rishi. That means a wise king who is a Nishkama Karmi. He is not one man who has totally renounced everything, but he has mentally renounced. He is also a person who has mentally renounced, but then whatever has come by virtue of prarabdha, he has to do justice to that. He is a ruler, so he cannot say, I will go to forest. His duty is to, as a Kshatriya, his duty is to rule. His duty is to maintain order in society. So Rajanascha Rushayasa, Rushayaha means a sort of philosopher king. Those philosopher kings, they were there. Several such people were there. Even Lord Rama is one such, because Yoga Vasishtha is one book, which is Yoga Vasishtha is basically Vedanta, the same Advaita Vedanta, which was taught to him when Rama was in his youth, much before he went to the forest along with this Vishwamitra. So Yoga Vasishtha was something which was taught by Vasishtha to Rama at that stage. Then Krishna himself is an example. Krishna, let us say Bharatam. When we talk about Krishna, we should also keep in mind that there is some slight difference in approach towards the Krishna, let us say Krishna picture or Krishna personality in Bharata and in Bhagavata. The person whom we see, the Krishna whom we see in Mahabharata, he is a great philosopher. He is a practical philosopher. He is a person who is involved in establishment of dharma. So he is a Krishna, he is a practical philosopher whom we see in this Bharata, Mahabharata. So when you come to Bhagavatam, it is more poetic in nature. There are more miracles and things like that. Bhagavatam is more in the shape of not exactly an allegory, more in the state of, there are a lot many things which have been symbolically told. So at that level it has to be understood. When we say that there were 16,000 gopikas, what is the meaning of a gopi? So what exactly is the meaning of a gopi? You should not say some damsel. So not in that sense. So the personality of Mahabharata, Krishna in Mahabharata is slightly different from the personality of Krishna in Mahabhagavata. So there we have to take in a symbolic way. Here you can as well take it in a historical way also. We have no great, we don't get highly disturbed or dislocated even if you take Krishna as a historical personality or a mythological personality. So here in Mahabharata, as we see, he is more of a person who is established, who is a philosopher king. He is also a king. He is the person who is involved in establishment of order. So that is how we can see here. So likewise, so King Janaka, King Rama, Krishna, all these people, for them there is a prarabdha karma. There is some action which is enjoined on them. So when this action is enjoined on them, they have to perform that action. So that is what we see in this shloka. Apurya, they are not kama kamis. That is, they are not people who are coveting things. They are not people who are desiring things. They are not people who are sensuous in nature. So that is the sensual in nature. So that is what these people are. They are whatever has been given to them by prarabdha, they are enjoying them, they are enjoying all those things, but they are not greedy people, they are not covetous people, they are not sensual people. So that is the picture. So let us see these words. Apuryamanam, a plus puryamanam, achala plus pratishtham, achala unmoving, pratishtham, samudram is in dvitiya vibhakti. That samudram, apaha, pravishanti, yat plus vat, yadvat, tat plus vat, tadvat, kamaha means desires, yam, the one whom, pravishanti means enter, sarve, sa shantim apnoti means attains, na kamakami. So by using the word kamakami, he is clarifying our mischievous doubt. Lord Krishna is clarifying our mischievous doubt that this Sthita Prajna is like an ocean who can absorb any number of things, and then Pitva Sthirakaha. There is one word in Vyakarana. In Panini's Vyakarana, there is one word called Pitva Sthirakaha. So even after having so many rounds of drink, the fellow is very stable. So Pitva Sthirakaha is like that. Panini Vyakarana also is quite funny. If you read all the examples given in Panini Vyakarana, you have a picture of the lifestyle of those days. So in fact, there are some people who have written some books by the lifestyle of people in that Panini. The lifestyle of what is that? There is Panini, there is some book which I forget. One lady has done some research, and she has written an excellent volume. And likewise, some other people also have written. So the picture of life which appears in, as we see from the examples of Panini. So this Pitva Sthirakaha, there are so many examples of this gambling, there are so many examples relating to various offences, etc. So like that, all this, the style, the way of life at that time of Panini's time. Panini, Panini lived about 2600 years ago in somewhere near Karachi, which is in Pakistan today. I am told in Pakistan's website also, in their own website. So they claim Panini as one great figure. It is something which is good that they have not discarded Panini. So they claim, because after all, if Pakistanis have to see their own history is Indian history only. Their own history is the history of our own people, all our Puranas, all our Vedas, they came from, they were all very, very active and alive there. So unfortunately, they were conquered and got converted. That's a different thing. But the Pakistani website, I have not seen, but somebody said it is there in their website that Panini is mentioned with great reverence. So this Panini uses the word Pitva Sthirakaha, one who drinks and then who is stable. So we should not think that this Sthita Prajna is like that. So that is why he is saying this na kamakami, in order to eradicate any mischievous doubt in our mind. So let us see this bhashyam. Apuryamanam advihi achala pratishtham achalataya pratishtha avasthitihi yasya tam achala pratishtham. Okay. We will read the next also. Samudram apaha sarvato gataha pravishanti swatmastham avikriyameva santam yadvat tadvat kamaha vishaya sannidhavapi sarvataha ichha vishesha yam purusham samudrameva apaha avikurvantaha pravishanti सर्वे आत्मन्येव प्रलीयन्ते
सर्वे आत्मन्येव प्रलीयन्ते
न स्वात्मवशं कुर्वन्ति
न स्वात्मवशं कुर्वन्ति
स शान्तिं मोक्षं प्राप्नोति
स शान्तिं मोक्षं प्राप्नोति
न इतरः कामकामी. So this is a long line where there are no full stops. There can only put some commas here and there. We'll again slowly read. Apuryamanam adbhihi. Adbhihi means by waters. By waters it is apuryamanam. It is being filled. As I said, it is a present continuous verb. Then adhihi apuryamanamapi, even though it is being continuously filled by water, achala pratishtham, that is achalataya pratishtha avasthitihi tam. Achalataya, that is in an unmoving stage. There is no vikara in that. There is no disturbance to its tranquility. Achalataya pratishtha. Pratishtha means avasthiti, existence. Pratishtha means a stable existence. So, yasya tam achala pratishtham samudram, that type of ocean. Apaha, apaha means water. Sarvato gataha, sarvato gataha means from all over. Sarvataha, from all over, all around. Pravishanti, pravishanti means they enter. They enter from all around, from all over the world, all the rivers which flow into the sea. Then swatmastham avikriyameva santam yadvat. Then what is the type of ocean is it? Swa atmastham avikriyameva samstham. Swa atmastham, it is in its own nature. Swa atmastha. Swastha, we know that we discussed it in the last a couple of classes ago. Swastha means, swast means stha, in his own self, one who is aware of his self, one who is in his own nature. What is one's own nature in the case of a jnani? In the case of an ajnani, one's own nature is different. I am this, I am a Brahmin, I have this, I am from this, I have this social status. This is my swastha, idea of swastha. But if I am a jnani, my idea of swastha is different. My idea of swastha is, I am that Shuddha, Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, Chaitanya, Swabhava. So that is my thing, that even that I feeling of I has gone. So that is what is called swasthata. So atmastham, swa atmastham avikriyameva santam. So in such a person who is say having that advaya buddhi, so he is not perturbed by anything, because all things, they just come like waves and go. All things, everything you put, it just comes like a wave and disappears, comes like a wave and disappears. So like that, atmasthameva santam, atmastham avikriyameva. Avikriya we have come across several times. Avikriya means something where there is no vikara, there is no modification, there is no change. So there is no reaction. So there will be a reaction only when there is a perception of difference. When there is no perception of difference, there is no reaction. Avikriyameva santam yadvat, tadvat, likewise, kamaha Vishaya Sannidhavapi. Vishaya Sannidhavapi is Vishaya Sannidhav plus api. That is the sandhi. Vishaya Sannidhav means in the presence of a Vishaya, in the presence of a sense object, in the presence of that which is tempting all others. A Vishaya is something which tempts all other people. It say let us use the word seduce. So say the word Vishaya is something which seduces all others, it tempts all others, it entices all others, maybe ensnares, you use any word. Anyway, all those things are applicable for an ordinary person. So, Vishaya Sannidhavapi, even this man is in the presence of that Vishaya, this man is not perturbed. In the presence of a Vishaya also, he is not somebody who is perturbed. In fact, I remember the story, I recall the story of Shuka. Shuka, we know. Shuka is the son of whom? Shuka Maharshi. Shuka Maharshi is the son of sage Vyasa. And by birth he was an Atmagyani, and he was in that state of say Brahma consciousness. So in that state he was actually not wearing clothes also. So I think I told this story also sometimes. Shuka is a person who was not even wearing clothes, and then one day he was going in the forest. There is a shloka from Bhagavatam. So one day he was moving in the tam pravrajantam. He was going. He had just renounced and then he was going. Then this Vyasa, though he is a man who is an eminent man who has edited Vedas, who has written, who has given us all this literature and all that, he still has some lingering love for his son. Oh, hey Shuka, he is following. So like that there is a story. So Shuka is somebody who actually who doesn't perceive any difference. Who doesn't, there is a big story, I need not go into that. Who doesn't perceive any difference. Then of course there is while they were moving in the forest, there is a lake in which some apsaras, some divine females, they were taking bath, and then they just see this Shuka, and then the Shuka he does not even notice them, or maybe even if he has seen them as Brahma, with that Brahma consciousness only. And then those people also they know, because they are all divine females. So they also know who is a person who is having a good eye and who is having a bad eye. So they continued swimming. But when Vyasa followed, then they just covered themselves. So the Vyasa feels rather embarrassed. So my son, he is a young man, he is a youth, he is going naked, and then these people, they are just freely swimming, and I am an old man with a white beard and whatnot. And then these people are covering themselves. So he asked them, Tadvichya pruchati mune jagadustavasti. Pruchati munau jagadustavasti stripumbhida na sutasya vivikta drustehe. They tell him, Stripumbhida tava asti. This difference of man, woman, this stripumbhida, this difference of male, female, etc., it is there in your mind. Na sutasya vivikta drustehe. Your son is not having that vivikta drusti. So those damsels, they tell him, they tell sage Vyasa, that you are having this sort of the idea of man, woman, etc., but your son is not having that feeling. So that is how it happened. So like that, Shuka is an example of that. So how did we come to that? Samudram apaha Vishaya Sannidhavapi. Yes, Vishaya Sannidhavapi. So it took us to that story. Vishaya Sannidhi. So a common man gets attracted to all these Vishayas. Even in the presence of these Vishayas, this man is avikari. He doesn't get changed. He doesn't have any sort of perturbance in the mind. Sarvataha Ichha Visheshaha. All types of all these desires which are there, they just merge in him. They just dissolve in him. Ichha Visheshaha Yam Purusham. The one whom Samudramiva Apaha Avikurvantaha Pravishanti. They enter while causing no vikara. Avikurvantaha. Vikurvantaha means producing some vikara. Avikurvantaha means not producing any vikara, not producing any change. They enter this person not producing any vikara in him. Whatever is assigned by prarabdha karma. Even this prarabdha karma is one point which is explained by Madhusudana Vyakya. In fact, till I read this Madhusudana Vyakya, I was also wondering, a Vijnani, why will he have all these desires? Why will he have so many things? So that is why Madhusudana Saraswati has explained. Sthita Prajna, I will read out this Madhusudana Saraswati's line. Sthita Prajnam Nirvikaram eva santam kamaha agnaihi lokaihi kamyamanaha shabdadyaha avarjaniyataya prarabdha karmavashat avarjaniyataya prarabdha karmavashat pravishanti natu tachittam vikartum shaknuvanti. So all these desires, I was also having a doubt when I read this shloka. So when I read this Madhusudana Saraswati, that doubt is clarified. That is, a Jnani, where is the question of desires? Where is the question of, not desires, where is the question of his enjoying Vishayas? So that was the doubt. That is why, where from all these things have come? These things have come from Prarabdha. Because he, like King Janaka, or Rama, the Lord Rama, or Lord Krishna, all these examples are, we can take any number of Rajarshis who are there in our books. In Raghuvamsha, if you take, there are so many Rajarshis. In Puranas, you find so many Rajarshis. So like that, all these people, they are in that state. So they have, by Prarabdha Vasha, because of this Prarabdha karma, they have got something. One man is a poor man, one man is a king, one man is a businessman, one man is something else. So like that, they have some duty which is there according to this, say what is this, varna, ashrama, depending on that varna or ashrama, they have got a prarabdha karma. And they have to do that karma so long as their body existed. So in that manner, we have to take this thing. Apuriyamana machala pratishtam. So like that, all these things, Vishaya Sannidhavapi. All these Vishayas, if he is a totally renounced man, there is no question of Vishaya. The doubt arises because of this. All these Vishayas, they enter him. Why do they enter him? Because of Prarabdhavasha. Because of Prarabdhavasha, there are some certain things which are just befalling him, which are just given to him, which are just thrust on him, and then he has to accept them without internally undergoing any change. So that is the picture of this man here. Yam Purusham Samudrameva Apaha Avikurvantaha Pravishanti. They just enter him without causing any modification in him, without causing any disturbance or turbulence in him. Sarve Atmanyeva Praliyante. Time is over.
So we complete this.
No, this praliyante I have to explain, because it is a question of this word liyante, laya, pralaya. The concept of pralaya is something which is very important. This idea of what exactly is laya, what exactly is pralaya. So this is something which requires some explanation. So I think this word sarve atmanyeva praliyante. So that is where we will stop, and this praliyante I will explain in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi.